Hi guys, this is Purti Chawla from Leverage Edu. I'm the manager here for IELTS. And in this session today, we talk about something really interesting. So I will update you on the latest that is happening in IELTS. And we'll talk about all the 4 sections, or any kind of topics or themes that are going to be coming in the coming weeks and which is currently going on. That's what we'll talk about today. Thank you so much for joining in. And I will also talk about the classes, the help that we here at Leverage Edu offer. So let me start off with telling you about Leverage Edu. So we are into admission services. We provide help with where you want to go and which college or universities that you would like to go for or should go for rather. So it's a complete package that we at Leverage Edu provide you, starting from understanding which courses would be best for you, then to which countries and which universities, what courses would make you more employable in the future, something that would be of a great help to you, for your careers or in order to enhance or, change your stream, or you want to get ahead of in whatever current stream you are at. So post-graduation or graduation or PhD or any other courses that you are interested in, how to start with it, what is that first step you need to take to, and then how to go around. So we create that roadmap or skeleton for you so that you're able to maneuver easily. And, for those who already have an idea of what they want or which course they want to go to, well and good. Those who don't know, so we have a system in place in order to help you understand what can be good for you. And of course, for everybody, then there are mentors and head coaches who help you with your applications, and not just, your application, but of course, everything that goes into it. So your SOP, your LORs, what are your deadlines, how to apply, where to do what, and all of that. And of course, then even after this, so, your loans, accommodations, scholarships. So do check out Leverage Edu scholarships also. Today, we'll be talking about the things which are going on recently. Okay, so, let's start with the basics first. So it's a language proficiency test. So that means they're checking your level of English, and they will give you a score from 1 to 9 whenever you attempt it. Anything above 6, 6.5 is considered to be a fantastic score, because that's the minimum that the universities are looking for. So, 7 or above is then henceforth our target. And I'd say that it's not difficult or easy, somewhere in between, as long as you know what needs to be done and you deliver the same thing. So they will give you or assess you on your 4 modules or skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Different kinds of questions are given to check your understanding, comprehension, and usage in all of these 4 modules. And hence, what is going on these days and what is the expectation probably in the coming months. For those of you who are planning for January intake, this would really be helpful, because till December, there's a certain trend that they follow, and then things change from January to March, and for quarter wise like this. So whatever I'm telling you today will be helpful for you till December. And of course, we keep updating you in the classes as well, or otherwise with these sessions. So let's talk about the first one, which is going to be writing. So traditionally, until now, those of you already know about the test would know that, task 1 for academic students, it's graph or chart. So it's a report that you need to write based on some visual representation that you have. So up until now, what was common was, tables and charts. So you have bar graph or pie chart, and bar graphs were consistently coming up in the exam, and not just 1, but 2 as well. Actually a mix of 1 or 2. So bar graph probably mainly to say chart questions were most commonly there. But now, these days, and from the Cambridge 16 book, that is the latest that official IELTS have taken out, we see that, there is a shift. So now, instead of just, tables or charts, one is that they're giving you a combination of chart and table. Yeah, so for instance, you get a pie chart plus a table, or you get a bar graph plus a table. So they are not two different charts. And this is important because that defines your body paragraphs. How are you going to write your answer depends on what kind of graph you're getting. So charts and the tables are in as a pair coming more frequently. But apart from this, what we also say in, see in Cambridge 16 and what students have reported, and we have been looking at these past couple of weeks, is that you are also likely now to get more of diagram and map questions. Just recently, a couple of students last week have taken the exam, and all of them got charts. So, I mean, this is something that we are looking into, like, diagram questions where you get some process involved. So it could be somewhere where are stages of things are involved. So for instance, production of noodles in a factory, or manufacturing steel rods in a factory, where the product goes through various stages, those kinds of questions, or map questions, and a mixture of some sort of graph, chart question, and table. So that is now more trending, or something that can be seen in the future coming to us. Now, remembering this, I mean, keeping this in mind, of course, we have to ensure that, while we are practicing, we're not just looking at one type of question or one type of vocabulary, but rather everything else. Like I said, for those of you who don't know this, so there's a very strict structure about how you end up writing your answer. What comes in the first paragraph, second, third, and fourth, and whether or not you have a fifth paragraph. So if we know, let's say there's a diagram question, there are chances that you might have a fifth paragraph depending on what sort of diagram it is. So it's important to know what is going on and what sort of question you are expected to get, so that you can prepare yourself like that and you won't get any shocks in the exam. So there's a different vocabulary when it comes to map questions, and when there are diagrams or there are charts table. So now that we know that this is the kind of question which is expected to come, so we are more likely to be prepared for them, and go about focusing on all of them rather than just a few. Now, coming to general training task 1. So general training exam is for those who wish to go abroad to settle down for PR, immigration. So for them, task 1 is different, and they get a letter. Could be a semi-formal, informal, or formal letter. Now, these days, there are 2 more frequent letters which are there, and out of them, the formal letters are more frequently coming. So up until now, informal were more in number, and now there's a shift in focus. So we get to know that this is what probably they are looking into. So of course, again, we're not going to just leave one, but be prepared for formal letters as well. There are different kind of letters, and of course, language is different for all. So we look into all of that. So that's what you get in the exam. Here we prepare you for the classes also in the same manner of what is going on recently, so that you're better prepared for it. And of course, everything else as well. Now, coming to writing task 2, which is an essay. Now, this task is the same for academic as well as general training students. And you are always, you get some sort of social issue. So something not too formal or academic, because, general training students are also getting it. But these days, there are 3, broad categories which we see questions around. And of course, here with Leverage Live classes, we get deeper into them. So with sample answers, with different topics around the main theme, but just to give you a glimpse of what is going on. So 3 main broad categories that are going on. So one is science, science, technology, popular in your area. So AI or robotics, all of that included. So, questions around this topic. Then more focus is also seen on environment issues. So recycling or plastic bags or businesses or ownership. around these things, or advertisements around these things. So those are the kinds of questions coming. And the third topic is around school children, not just children, but school going children. So education is the third one, which is more in number these days. So, like some children should be taught to give presentation skills, or they should be made to learn public speaking or speeches. Should this be done? How can this be taught, or something like this? Or they have, focus of students on different subjects. So many students find it difficult to pay attention in school nowadays. What are the reasons? What can be done for this? Or in many countries, these kind of subjects are being more prominent or more focused on, and then there are these which are not. So discuss both sides, give your opinion, or questions like, just specifically on children, so they should be given more freedom to make errors or mistakes. Some people think that adults should take decisions based on them. Again, discuss both sides, or it can also come as an agreement disagreement question. So these kinds of questions, so science, education, and the other one was more social topics. So these kinds of things are more prevalent, where they are, again, any kind of essay can come, but once you know, okay, this is the kind of topic that is coming to me, even if you don't have enough knowledge about it, or you don't, probably you're lacking vocabulary, in any of these cases, if you know what kind of topic is going on, you can prepare for it. You can read up samples, read upon it, for discuss with your trainer in the class. We also provide samples and vocabulary around the same, apart from, of course, other topics which are going on, or which are more likely or probable to come. And the essay type, though, is all the same. So like recently, advantages overweighing the disadvantages or outweighing the disadvantages, that question is quite common. Discussion essay and agreement, opinion essay, agreement disagreement, is anyway still going on these days. So type of essays, I'd say that there's not a huge shift in it, but for topics we can see that there are certain types which are more frequent than the others. Yeah. Okay, so that's about writing. Now talking about speaking. So speaking exam is, where you go and meet the examiner for a face-to-face interaction. Now, more than writing, in speaking, the topics recur, they repeat. Even in writing, they do, which is why I'm telling you these are the topics which are going on, or something which is, we can see they are expected to come. But in speaking, it is even more common that these topics are repeated. So some themes which are going on, some categories that they are asking you questions on these days are one, flowers, or smiling. So questions like, do people in your country often smile? In what situations do they smile? How often do they smile? Do men or women smile more? These kinds of questions. Then when was the last time you smiled? So we know that, in part one, they're asking you very direct personal questions. So that's what they're asking. So flowers, smiling, or traveling, not just traveling, but traveling by car. So that's a topic which is coming nowadays. Or barbecue. So this is a new one. Or sports still going on, like every time, but now they're also asking about adventurous or extreme sports. So those are the new topics that we are looking into. So not just, part one, for all three parts. And then there's another new one, which recently one of my students also got, was about windows and what you can see outside of your window. So the scenery outside your home. So they ask you questions around it. Another one is wallet and or purse, depending on whatever you might use. And then there's age or stages of life. That's what they're asking you. So like question like, do you enjoy your current stage of life? Or at what age do people are, happiest? At what age you think you should start learning something? What is your plan for the next stage of life? These kinds of questions. Another topic before we move on is about relaxation. So that's what they're asking, especially in part one. So, what do you do to relax? What do people in your country do? Do you like to nap while relaxing? So they ask you questions on different topics which one can take for relaxation. So these are some topics which are going on. And of course, in Leverage Life class, the trainer would accustom you to all of these vocabulary questions, ideas also, and sentence structures of what you can say around them. That's for task, for part one of the speaking section. There are other questions for part two as well, which are going on these days, like a very recent one again, one of my student got was describe a skill that you can teach others. A couple of my students, in fact, have got this. And other questions like describe a time when you had to tell your friend a truth, describe a time when you got lost, describe a person you think is open. Of course, wild animals has been going on for quite some time now. So, describe an encounter you had with a wild animal. Another topic going on, describe a singer that you like, or describe a person you think is a good leader. So leader, singer, open, you got lost, time you had to tell truth to your friend. And another one was describe a piece of equipment that your family owns. So like basically any random piece that, of machine or tool that you can pick up and talk about. And the last one, describe a thing that is very important to your family. These have been recurring these days and are likely, so for any one of you who is planning to take the exam in September, probably this could be one of the topics as well. Like I said, so with speaking, it is more frequent. So keeping yourself updated with what is going on is ever more important. So yeah, that's for speaking. And when it comes to listening and reading, so, the basic structure is still the same. There's no difference. You get 4 audios, where the first one is, first and second section is always, 2 people talking about social issues, social topics. So for shopping, booking a ticket, inquiring about tour, or inquiring about a library, some service, these kinds of things. So that's what is also going on these days, where they, ask you questions, or they have questions on phone numbers, addresses, hobbies, names. So where adjectives or verbs are used, or you have names of days and so on and so forth. These kinds of questions do come in part one. Then in part 3 and 4 of the listening section, where the focus then shifts on academic topics. So section 3 is always 2 people talking. There are 2 students, a boy and a girl, and they're always talking about some presentation or a paper that they want to present. And that is going on these days as well. Now, a new thing that has come up is that map questions are becoming more frequent. So these past few weeks, map questions were there, but only a few, not recurrent. They were intermittently used. But now these 15 days, I'd say, from a fortnight, map questions are also there in a lot of your listening tests, and if they come in section 2. So that's what is going on in listening. So there's no significant change in the trajectory or the kind of questions, but this is one that, map questions are becoming more prominent. Otherwise, you should be aware of this thing that, these are the kinds of topics that they'll ask me, and these are the kinds of questions they ask me. And in both section 1, 2, social topics, and section 3, 4, academic topics. So yeah, that's there for listening. Now, when it comes to reading, so the students have been telling that, time management is an issue only for them when it comes to section 3. So section 3, the last passage that you're getting, is the longest, and it is not problematic or such. They are able to manage it because they've had practice and rules and tips around it, but it takes more time. So some of them have also, started backwards and dealt with section 3 first. Some go in sequence in the order section 1, 2, and 3. But you've got to understand that, the same kind of tests that they put out officially, like in the Cambridge, and the latest being Cambridge 16, the same pattern is also followed in the exam. The same pattern, of course, not the same topics or the same questions, but the pattern is the same. So section 1 is relatively simpler these days, and section 3 is not. But otherwise, for reading, of course, we also provide the latest reading sets only to you, along with all the Cambridge tests, but also we refer to especially the very, very recent ones which have come about, so that you know what is going on. So in reading, you've got to understand that, they're asking around 7-8 questions, 7-8 types of questions in your exam. True, false, not given questions are coming to you in more than one passage. So probably 2, some students are also getting in all 3, but most of them in 2. And section 3, the last passage, will be the longest. So then we also, in the classes, practice accordingly and guide you like that as well. So that's what is going on these days around all the 4 sections. And like I said, it's crucial that you know about it, so that you're not getting lost, or what you can expect. Of course, there's never 100% guarantee of this is the question you will get, but there are higher chances of it. That's what it is. That's why we keep a close eye on the trends, not just in India, but otherwise, because they do mirror each other. So what's going on in other countries also happen in India, in different cities. So I've shared some questions, of course, there are more. And that is why we are also providing help for you with our classes. So there are different kind of batches that you can enroll for. Morning batches, afternoon, evening. You want to go for the regular batch, which is for either 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And then there's the fast track batch, which is for 2 weeks. So any one of you planning to take it in September itself can also enroll for the fast track batch, or the morning batch, 4 weeks batch. Or if you have some time, if you think you need more help or more guidance, that even the regular evening batch, which is for 6 weeks, would work for you. These are all live classes, and you get this recent, updated, authentic help from us. And whichever course you join, study material around vocabulary, topics, recent exam questions, sample answers, all of that is provided. And of course, you get feedback on your speaking and writing, and where you are going wrong, and what can be done in listening and reading, all of that. And so that's from my side. Thank you so much for joining this session. I hope to see you guys in the class. And of course, keep watching this space for more tips and strategies and things, not just for IELTS, but all around your application. And of course, if you want to get in touch with us, do not forget the codes and the 60% discount that we're offering. And you can call us on this number as well if you want to find out about the course in detail. So thank you so much for attending this session. I'll see you next time.